Hello, everybody, and we are live on YouTube. We're live on Yerg's Radio. We're live earlier than we were supposed to be, and we're not coordinated. And that's because CBS changed the time on us. So, welcome, everybody. First off, I need to thank the Parapost Network for allowing us to be on their show or their stuff. Uh, I'm just all thrown off tonight. On their network, we need to thank Ross at Yerg's Radio. You can listen to us at yergsradio.com. We're live there. We have a toll-free number if you want to call in. And just spoiler alert, anybody who has not seen tonight's episode, well, spoiler alert, you're going to see it. Or you're going to hear all about it. So 1-888-88-YERGZ on your phone pad. Give us a call, give us a holla, and let us know what you think of tonight's episode, because at one point in time, I messaged in the group that I actually I used a word I don't ever use, but I was really extremely upset with with the vote. So yeah, it's not like me, but I did. I won't say the word because then they'll at me on Twitter, and I don't need that. Amanda, how the hell are you?
I'm good. I'm great. I'm here. We're good.
Good. It's the feeds aren't live yet. It's been an interesting day. I've been trying to watch the feeds, catch up on everything, listen to our competition, and there's just this one person that just keeps jumping out at me that I didn't like. So, but we'll get into that. So,
Well, I figured if we wanted to recap a little bit on last week,
Mhm.
the the main thing was their challenge. Um, so uh, it was their game to determine who was going to be head of household, and it was called New Rule. So there were, I believe, it was 4 different rounds, and um, people were voted off each time. Um, Long story short, you can go to CBS or Paramount Plus to get the details, but it ended up coming down to Kenny, Leah, and Angela, to which then I thought was very funny that right after like they had won, our mascots, Cedric and Chelsea, were giving Joseph some hate because he just went right over to sit down on the couch, and everybody was like going over and giving them hugs and stuff. Um, but so then how the last particular round works, because like we had talked about, it was pretty much kind of like shuffleboard,
Mhm.
um, and so I'm trying to. So round four was the highest number wins, but the score has to be an odd number. So
Odd number. That's correct.
if it
Yeah.
lands on an even number, it's a zero. Goes off the board completely, it's a zero. Um, so Angela scored, or Leah was first. She scored a 26. It's an even number, therefore it's a zero.
Well, and remember that's her number. She's got it
Yeah.
tattooed on her.
Um,
So,
well, there were funny things about that one that I jotted down, because in the picture that we were looking at of them last week, there were a lot of jokes made about how it looks like a set of parents and their daughter. But
yes,
she, but
looks so young.
even her, right before she goes up, Leah is like, well, "Yeah, we've got mom, pop, and baby girl here," and
I did like Leah.
as 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 soon as she tosses it out and it lands on the 26th, she just is yelling. She's like, "Betrayed by my lucky number." Um, and I thought it was funny because everybody was calling Angela Mama. So after she wins, she's just like looking at them, going, "Who's your mama?" um,
That is true. She did do that.
and also what was very interesting is, this is in the middle of a moment that he's got nothing to do with. It was just a competition between Kenny, Lisa, and Angie. And
Yes.
all of a sudden,
And
Matt gets.
I want to say something real quick here. Everybody talked about during the whole week how they needed to worry about Kenny because he was such a strong competitor. They haven't seen him compete. They saw him slide a disc across the board. That's more of a chance than a competition. But go ahead.
Right.
Well, I found it very humorous. In the middle of everything, it just pans over to Matt, and he's like, he's sitting on the couch and talking about how threatened Angela is by him, and just keeps talking about it. But Kenny's his boy, so that's fine. And I'm like, you no one asked you. No one asked your opinion. Go away.
Yeah, hold on here.
Angela, you probably think you made this big move putting me up on the block, but you have
Getting ahead of
no
ourselves
idea
a
what
little
you
bit.
just did. I still have the AI arena comp to compete in, and when I stay in this house, these crazy eyes are going to be locked in on you.
And I'm going to gouge him out before then.
But he's not threatening.
No, of course not. But just so randomly, it's just like she just wins head of household, the first head of household in the season, and he's just like, yeah, but she's like really, really threatened by me, and I'm like, all right, it's giving pick me energy, but all right. And then that goes over to Kenny, and he's just doing a very slow clap for Angela because he's very not happy. And he's confused because he doesn't know where he stands with her.
There's no doubt where he stands now.
Very true. And but Angela, despite how crazy all of her stuff has been to this point, it seems like a relatively harmless person. And
I think she's just your typical Karen. So
yeah, I can see that.
She can make some crazy faces.
Yeah.
Yes, she can.
She's got some great impersonations. But then it goes over to Angela, and she's talking about that she really feels like Kenny showed what kind of competitor he is, and that he might be the easiest to pick because.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe after the last game, potentially, of crawling through the honey and everything, but not particularly on this one.
I wish I had pictures of my boy Jose.
Losing his drawers.
Poor thing.
No, we'll get to it. There's the funny moment in that.
But so then again, another alliance going on. She goes back to her room, and she shares the room with Joseph and Chelsea, and she basically says that she's good with Cedric, Chelsea, Joseph, and Takor. And then, of course, right after that, Matt is out back in the backyard talking to Kenny, Lisa, Chelsea, and Joseph about how he'll be up on the block to be evicted, because she gets all squirmy around him, and not in a good way.
Which is what he likes, for women to be squirmy around him in a good way.
And I really like what Chelsea had to say about all that, because he's basically just sitting out there and nobody asked, and just starts complaining about Angela. And it goes over to Chelsea, and she's like, even if you are thinking about that, thinking all that stuff, dude, you shouldn't be saying it out loud in front of over half the house to hear.
Yep.
Yeah.
So and you can see like the whole time like Chelsea and Joseph are like exchanging looks, and then it's like Joseph just gets tired of dealing with it, and he goes and tells Angela what's going on, and she can't understand why her talking about him being in a showmance would put a target on him, because when he's sitting there talking to all of them outside, he's talking about all this crazy stuff she did in episode 2 whenever they were all in the bathroom together, and she was being real funky, um and Angela says, you know, she wasn't even consider putting him up. At least from what it shows the public, she hasn't said much, if anything, about him except for those weird little crazy exchanges. So then we get to the evening, you know, Angela's up in her head of house room, and that's when Quinn decides to tell her that he's won the deep fake head of house power, and she gets all like weirdly excited, where she's like shooting finger guns at him, and like, this woman is in her 50s, and she's looking at him because she gets closer, and she's like, wasn't there one of those kind of things, like, you know, like a BB gun? I'm like, yeah, you're just talking about a BB gun, Angela.
Yes.
A pew-pew.
So she decides that that evening she kind of wants to hear from everybody on who they're thinking about putting up, so that way it eases her conscience later on, and is less likely to have people go after her. But she also wants to hear from more of the people that she hasn't really talked to nearly as much. So Cam, Lisa, Leah, Mackenzie, and Tucker all say that they don't trust Lisa. Or I think I said Lisa on there. Disregard her if I did. I'm tired. But none of them trust her. And I thought it was pretty funny coming from Tucker, who seems very unsuspecting. He's just kind of hanging out doing his own thing. And he's just like, she talks an awful lot, acts like she knows it all about everyone when she doesn't know anybody. Again, because they've been here a week.
That is correct.
So then Angela and Matt talk, and after, you know, she, at this point, she's found out that he's out there talking to people because basically he thinks that she was dragging him for talking about the showmance and everything, and she apologizes for all those, and that she didn't mean anything by it, except for, you know, he's pretty, there are a lot of pretty girls out there, it would probably be something that would happen. And of course, if you didn't already know what was going to happen, you're like, oh, okay, well, this seems really good. They seemed to be having a genuine conversation, and Matt is explaining why it made him feel the way it did. Everything seemed cool. And he was interpreting it as her looking at him like he was a threat. And she states for like the millionth time that she has not put his name out there for anything.
No.
And then he proceeds to tell her that, well, he doesn't think that he's the person to take that chance with, of, you know, putting him up there to evict, because he's built so many good relationships with all the people in the house Um, and he really feels like he could go campaign for himself to everybody and somebody would take him down. And in a sense, basically says, if you come for me now, I'm coming for you later.
Well, to quote what Julie said, you did say to her, Angela, you want to put me up? Let's go. If I win next week, I promise you, which she interpreted as a threat,
Mm-hmm.
that he was coming for. And he
Which
said that it definitely wasn't an aggressive threat, but she perceived it that way.
it was not spoken aggressively. It was spoken in a, haha, I'm covered up in your blanket and hugging this pillow while we're talking, but like, let's go. You put me up, I'll put you up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And she was kind of like, whoa, 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 you're like scaring me, man. And
And she
she,
told him that. He should have at that point been like, oh,
yeah,
no, hold on. That's not the way I mean it. Right then, he should have
yeah,
corrected this.
Mm-hmm.
because she was like, well, you're scaring me. And but what I really liked about what she said was she ends up telling him that he'll watch this back later and regret everything he just said to her
That's
because
cool.
she never said anything about him. So then there's the little dramatic nomination ceremony, to which obviously that we found out from last week, um, that Angela nominates Lisa, Chemo, and Kenny. And her explanation to everybody was that there hasn't been enough game talk and she's talked more with other people than with them. Um, and the last bit on that one is that Lisa says she's really blindsided and shocked and that she's ready to stir shit up.
Oh, and she does. Tinkerbell. That's her new nickname, Tinkerbell.
And
Terrible.
so then we roll over into yesterday's episode, where and I found in yesterday's episode Angie came up with a lot of great nicknames for Matt in this one. Obviously I needed some good merch ideas, so I had to make sure that I wrote them all down.
Obviously.
So
We discussed
somehow,
that. Yes, yes, yes.
so somehow in hold on, what was the first one? In Casanova Crazy Eyes's mind, seems to think that after that whole conversation that, you know, they're good, they're on good terms, he's built a lot of trust with her and he thinks he's safe now.
No.
um Chemo takes the vote of him really personal, and but I love that immediately, like, because Amanda, Angie wants to go like apologize to everybody, and but she's like, you know, we have a connection, and I'm just like, just shut up, you don't, just tell him you didn't know who else to pick and you picked him, okay?
Exactly. Exactly.
I think he would have been fine with that. But she's flat out honest and goes, it's not you that I want gone, it's Kenny. I want Kenny gone.
She was honest about it at first, yes. Well, the whole time.
Yeah, and
Bluntly so.
So then her and Lisa go sit down to have a talk, and again Lisa said that she's blindsided and that and Angie pretty much says the same thing. It was like, you know, it's not you I want gone, it's Kenny. And Lisa is just kind of like, is that supposed to mean something to me now? Because, you know, pawns get sent home too.
She is
And
correct.
they were talking about, you know, how valuable like friends and allies are. And Lisa is kind of like, cut the crap. Friends don't mean anything right now. Allies mean something. So it was it kind of reminded me of your mother sitting you down and telling you, if you do that again, I will smack the living crap out of you. So Angela better keep her crap in line. And what I thought was, I guess for some people could be really weird, but it's also very much the type of person I am. You know, she's getting support from people. You know, everybody's hugging her, and you know everybody's getting along, and I'm like, I get that. I would need that little bit of support too if I just had to, you know, kind of make a decision like that off the whim. Um, but she is really pissed off because she's walking through the kitchen talking to everybody. Everybody's hugging her. They're all talking. It's all good. Old Casanova Crazy Eyes is just over there stuffing his face. Doesn't even bother to make eye contact with her, try to talk to her, nothing. Just completely ignores her. And that really sent her off the deep end. With her saying, "Oh yeah, very clearly, actions speak louder than words."
And she was correct. If he wanted to be active gameplay instead of thinking he had it based on what he didn't want to be stereotyped in, he should have been actively up talking, engaging, instead of kick back acting like he's got it. So
Right.
And
I don't know the exact words, but that was reverse psychology. Basically, he was trying to portray himself as to what he really was, or he didn't want anybody to see what he really was, but that was what he was putting out.
And so that's obviously very very triggering to her, which I'm like, I get. I'd be pretty peeved too, but I probably would have just smacked the crap out of him there and been like, hello, I just saved your ass from when I could have put you up there because you're out talking crap to everybody about me. And I didn't. So so she gets really peeved and goes and tells Chelsea and Joseph that SOB wouldn't hug me or anything. And so then she ends up going back to the head of house room, and she's just pacing back and forth and is just mad and is stewing over it.
Yes, she was.
Talking about how ungrateful and untouchable and cocky and everything that he was acting, which was accurate.
Absolutely. Agreed.
And so then it kind of skips over to Matt and MJ end up in beds near each other because apparently they got the last pick of all the beds.
Yeah, I caught that.
And it must have been somehow planned on MJ's part, but they were totally flirting the whole time. And she's like, "You better stay over there."
I got something for that in a minute, but
and then
I'm loaded tonight.
So then developed what I felt was a more intriguing alliance of the Thromance.
Whoa, we just saw Samantha.
Oh,
just disappeared. She was tired of you.
She was tired of the Thromance. I get it.
Exactly. What happened?
So,
where'd you go?
I have no idea. I just
We missed
disappeared.
The ghosts are tired of Big Brother. I understand.
This is the paranormal show. Stop that.
But so Matt, MJ, and Leah make up the Thromance.
I'm gonna put this up here real quick, and I don't think it's accurate at this time, but that it is what it is.
I mean, the collective, Angela kind of that.
Yeah.
Hold on, where's BS at? Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, the collective is gone. The barbershop is, well,
who knows?
It's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Matt and MJ trio is gone.
But so at that point, MJ, because apparently throughout the whole time in the house, they're looking for a time for just the three of them to be alone where they can talk, and eventually, MJ does the stupidest thing she could have done and tells them that she has America's veto. and what that entails. And then alliances start forming left and right.
He tried to shame her for not using it on him. He wasn't up yet at that point. And he tried to shame her for not using it on him, which to me was garbage. You don't,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, we're all here to win $750,000.
Yeah. And so then we're getting obviously into the night, and Angie's driving herself nuts watching the cameras. That's where she
There we go.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's where she comes up with Casanova Crazy Eyes.
Yes.
And so she's watching everybody, and they're literally just down in the kitchen commingling, talking, eating, doing whatever.
Yep.
And the collective was kind of formed.
No, I'm going the wrong way.
Um
I'm listening.
it
Yeah,
was
you can see it in the picture. They literally were just sitting down
Yeah.
there eating.
yeah. She was kind of added to the collective. But whenever, I think it was Quinn and Joseph that come to tell her about it
Yes.
in the back, where she's like, yeah, this is BS, but I know I've got to play along just to play along.
Which, Quinn is her ride or die. Why did she not believe that? I don't understand that. That didn't make a bit of sense to me, because that was the very first out of all the alliances. That was the very first. They formed their final two.
Oh, good. They did put it on their BB guns.
Yeah. I just don't understand. And thank you also to Big Brother Junkie for allowing us to use this. Why did they not? Why did she not believe it? I don't know.
Yeah, and I think
Sleep deprived.
well, just sitting there watching that camera the way that she was.
But she had a room all to herself. She could have turned the lights off at any point in time after, was it 10 o'clock?
And she could have she had how much White Claw? She could have just got white girl wasted. She kept saying this because she was sleep deprived. It was you had your own room. You could lock the door. You were the head of the house. Nobody's coming at you. They're all going to kiss your butt. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so it was self-induced.
Very much so, and she just kind of went into a downward spiral of, while she's laying there in bed, because you're seeing it in night vision, she's talking to herself and deciding that because in one of the other pictures she says the collective is coming for her, and again, it's just everybody down there talking and mingling and everything.
Yeah,
but she lays there and decides that she needs to expose Matt to everyone. And she's talking to herself, going through in her head how she's going to do it. But she says
very
that
rehearsed.
Mm-hmm.
She decides that she's taking back her power to expose him so she can crucify Crazy Eyes.
Yeah, I got to say this. She's older. She's older than me, I think. She's that generation where we give nicknames to everybody. It's not just that we're trying to offend you. It's just that it is what it is. So everybody gets a nickname.
And so it's Crucify Crazy Eyes. Then my next portion is just titled Shit Hits the Fan.
Yeah. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And I wish I had the sound clip of my boy Tucker going, well, call that one wrong.
That, and then if you would have had one of Joseph saying, well, I think that'll make the episode.
Yes, two of the greatest. Yeah. Those are my boys.
Yep.
So, like
Leah's dead to me.
Like we had talked about last week, because we had seen it in the live feed and everything. Angie decides she is just gonna rip Matt a new one in front of everybody. And I love that Leah says she watched her turn from so sweet into mommy dearest.
Yes, she did.
Yes.
And I also liked Takor's way of putting it, of like, well, maybe everything needed to be said, but that's just not the tact
Way of
I
saying
would
it,
have
yeah.
used.
Yeah.
But something he gets super crappy about is saying that she never should have brought his mother into it. And that was not the case. He flat out says, oh God, it just... Little bitch starts crying all over the place after. Oh my God, just... Brooklyn, get off him. Get off him. He doesn't deserve it. So he is the first
Tell us how you feel.
I punch him in the face. So he flat out firstly says to Angela, my mom's gonna see this. And she said, yeah, and your mother is gonna see how big of a brat you are.
Yes.
And then you might as well have just told him the world's worst yo mama joke. Like, she insulted his whole family by him bringing up his own freaking mother. He brought her up.
Yes.
It wasn't even her.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yep.
He wants pity for it then.
Well,
Yep.
and at that point was when it's almost like the camera zoomed back a little bit enough to Joseph be right there and with his like hoodie and his glasses on inside the house, just stoic, and he's just like, yep, that'll make the episode.
He's my boy.
Yeah. He's great.
And so Crazy Eyes over there decides to try to go to Joseph and like, that's not true. That's not true. And Joseph is just like, I don't know nothing. And he's like, we all weren't there whenever y'all were talking. But after her outburst in all of this, it was making him, for when he flat out says he's questioning working with her. And it sends MJ out of the room crying because MJ got brought up in it, and
Yes.
God forbid she start crying about it. But then Cedric goes to Chelsea, and Cedric, as they're referring to the collective at this point, that Cedric doesn't know if he can trust Angela to make the correct game moves. And something that I thought was funny is back, I believe it was in episode 2, where I'm trying to see if I could find it real quick. Or maybe it was earlier. It was earlier it was episode 3, where the girls all get together, and that was like where the supposed first alliance started. And Chelsea flat out says that she thinks Angela is too emotional and she might let something slip. So then again, she tells Cedric, I don't trust her to keep her mouth shut. But he also makes a point that really shows you, and it makes some of a point for this dingleberry on screen. I don't think it counts, but he said, Cedric said he feels like it shows how much of a good player that Matt is to make Angela act like that.
Well, now I do want to point out, he was playing a good game. It was a dirty game, but he was playing a good game. He was playing. You haven't watched him seasons before. He was playing the anti-Tyler game. Tyler was a surfer boy from, I think he was from California. I'm not sure, but he was a surfer, tall, long, blonde hair, got along with everybody. He was a stereotypical jock, but he never acted like it and never talked to anybody. He had everybody in his back pocket, but at no point in time did he even mention it. And if it come off, he's like, not me. Yeah, so yeah, he played the anti-Tyler game. If you ask
he
me,
would be the one that's like, no, dude, look, you've literally got everybody in your back pocket. And he'd be like,
yeah.
really?
And see, this is the thing. I think Matt could have had everybody in his back pocket if he hadn't been so arrogant. That's just my opinion, of course.
So,
Matt, when you see this, let me know. You can come on the show and defend yourself.
And I will be kept on mute the whole time.
No, I will unleash you on Matt.
First of all, how dare you? So then we get into, they have to pick players for the veto competition. So how that works is that the head of household will pull 2 chips from the box that determine the 2 other players. And the box has chips for every eligible player. So Angela's picking the chips, and if she picks hers or one of the other nominees that she's picked chips, they then get to choose any player that they want. Mm-hmm. And obviously still Cedric and Chelsea are still ineligible.
Yes. And that's different from previous seasons, because normally the 2 that are up for veto, eligible for veto, the nominees pick their own chip normally. So that's different this season. So
then the 2 chips that were chosen were Joseph and Lisa. Obviously, Angela had already picked Lisa, so Lisa then chooses Brooke to go in her place, because I believe she specified she was thinking about Matt, but she was trying to stay out of all of that drama.
She wanted to stay away from the drama, yeah.
So then proceeds the unwatchable amount of poor me baby cry on Brooke like I'm a little whiny bitch. My mom. I'm playing, and I quote, "I'm playing for you, mama. I want you to be proud." Like, no, you piece of shit. She's not going to be proud. She raised a piece of crap.
Oh, tell us how you really feel.
So then they have 12 minutes in the competition to spell the longest word that they can. I hate
and
him.
You know,
that.
Yeah, you've kind of mentioned that, but if he had been picked to play in it, I don't know that he could have put a word together.
Yeah.
No.
I would question the same for Cedric as well, but at least it would have been more funny to watch Cedric do it.
Cedric. Yes.
Oh gosh.
I've got to cover up where I wrote that. I'm playing for you, mama. I want you to be proud. Just gonna go cry.
Matt, you're welcome on the show anytime. You can call it 1-888-YRGZ.
So they do also have the option that they can delete letters in this challenge. So what it is that they there are these letters all in this gook of sorts, which is supposed to look like honey. It was probably the only thing that I will agree with Crazy Eyes is that he was like, but like, how does it taste though? Like, yeah, try it. How's it taste?
Yeah, and they vetoed or deleted or whatever you called it 2 letters.
Yeah, they deleted. Kenny deleted E, and Lisa deleted another one, but I don't remember which one.
It was a vowel, but why E? But at any rate, yeah.
Well, I feel like he's just kind of screwing himself over. But
I think he had already pictured his word.
I think you're correct. Yeah.
But so in the competition was Angela, Joseph, Kenny, Lisa, Chemo, and Brooke. So they have to crawl in this honey gook while there are like paint cannons and confetti cannons being shot every which way. And poor Kenny, it seemed like every time you turned around, he was getting like shot in the face with one of the paint cannons. But so in 12 minutes, somebody had to spell the longest word. So obviously Angela didn't care. I don't even know why they put her in it, but she didn't bother to finish, so she got a 0. I think Joseph's word was spin, but he had turned a Z sideways to make it an N, so he got a 0.
He's like, oh, I thought that was great.
He was like, I know what I did, but I don't care. Kenny spelled camping, which was 7 letters.
It's a good word.
Lisa spelled transform, which was 9, so that put her in the lead. And Chemo had spelled pipers, but that ended up getting him a 0 because Kenny had deleted the E. And Brooke spelt flocks, which gave her 6.
And what the hell is flocks? Is that birds?
Flocks of birds.
Oh, okay. All right. Go ahead. Carry on.
So Lisa wins the power of veto, which she saves herself. So then that gives the head of household the right to pick that next new person.
That's right.
Obviously, Dingle Twat there is put up by Angela. And props to her. Mackenzie is just like, nah, I'm sorry, but I'm not using my power this early. And I'm just like, thank you, and please stick to it.
Yes. I was so worried about that.
Yeah, I was too, because I was like,
Don't you do it.
They've known each other a week. What are you doing? What do you think? Yeah, I was already blaming her for doing it, so I'm glad she didn't do it. So,
and the last thing out of episode 4 was that Matt said he had his crazy eyes on Angela. So,
so yeah, he was up. He was the target, and poor Kenny, he was feeling some kind of way. He was all down. He was all out.
He needed a swift kick in the you know what, which I really hope.
Kenny, I'm actually counting on you, whether you see that or not.
Yeah.
To kick that little kid's butt.
Oh my!
I don't have the desire to do it to him.
Are you kidding me right now? That disappoints
me. Are you kidding me?
Kenny, you were in the Big Brother house.
He's my boy.
You're a cop.
He's my number one ally. I'm a competitive person, but the emotions of being against Matt make it kind of difficult.
Why?
I really thought I was a person that those emotions could be kept in check, and unfortunately, I'm learning something very new about me, that feelings and guilt and stuff. So that's kind of like a dilemma that I'm in right now.
You're telling me you have no desire to fight in the arena for your life in this game because you don't want to go and beat him? That's what I'm hearing.
I have loyalty to him.
My mind just went.
Yeah. Well, mine went a couple of times too by some of your decisions. So
some of my decisions.
So we're both in the same. Yeah.
At least
well,
he's
honestly,
honest.
I think that my decision to stick to what I set up here and follow through with it was a lot more admirable than saying I'm going to give up and I don't want to beat my competitor in Big Brother.
I get that.
Agreed.
Kenny's trying to be a hero. He's like, I can't flip on my boy Matty. Oh man, Matty's so cool. I gotta put him first over me, my family, my food truck. He's known him for a week. A week!
But not the food truck.
Why is it gotta be the food truck?
Yeah, they started off like episode 5 of like, oh, and there's so much more drama with Angela. Like, no, she told him the crap that he needed to hear.
Yes, absolutely did. I agree.
But I
because
really liked the episode started off again with like, I think it was MJ and Leah talking, and she was like, "Nah, I've got to think of myself first. As much as I care for Crazy Eyes, I've got to think of myself first." And Kenny,
Look at his eyes.
he
it's your boy. It's your boy right there.
oh God. It's perfect for me to gouge them out there. But so Kenny decides that if it comes down to the two of them, he wants Matt to win.
Yeah.
So Matt then goes on the most ridiculous campaign for himself. And bless Quinn for just being so unproblematic and kind that he's just like, you know, I don't really think that I could go against chemo, but since you're good God. That man is a
Matt,
disgrace.
1-888-88-YRGZ. Anytime you want to call in, Matt. We'll call you Frank so you don't violate
Hey,
your NBA.
you go find him. He's in Georgia. Go find him.
He lives not far from here, I'm told. So
I'll PayPal you the money necessary to mail me a cooler with any dismembered body parts. But so Quinn basically says he probably wouldn't vote against chemo, but he's just so polite, and I'm really gonna have to think about it. I'm just, it's like you're asking me right now, and I'm not gonna give you an answer on the spot. I just really have to think about it. Which and Matt's like, oh yeah, I respect that. I respect that. And it's like he's literally going around to everybody so that he can collect these numbers so that he can then go tell more people that he's talked to that, well, I've already got like 8 people behind me, and just the more people I have behind me the better. And I was very surprised that it like got over to Cam, and Cam flat out said that he doesn't know that he would vote for Matt. And something interesting that Brooke mentioned was like, look, if all this stuff is starting now and at week 1 he is already up to go home, he needs to go home.
and how come nobody mentioned this?
Is that Lisa?
Yeah, he threw Lisa in the pool.
She probably deserved it.
Well, I'm not going to argue that, but Amanda must not like that. But but yeah, that's not been mentioned anywhere.
It's because she's a redhead. That's fine.
So, yeah, why? But nobody mentioned it. I don't understand.
Well, and something else that wasn't mentioned, and I'm hoping maybe it gets mentioned next week because there wasn't a whole lot of time this week to talk about it. But I love that, he goes around and he's getting all these people to vote for him that he says is an alliance that he just right off the bat calls BS.
Yes.
I'm like, really? Yeah, like y'all just don't say, I don't want to be a part of BS. oh no, it stands for barber shop.
Yeah.
And MJ flat out tells him like he knows squarely that he's got MJ's vote, he's got Leah's vote, and MJ tells him that she would probably cry if he left. And they're having their little hammock moment, talking about what she looks for in a guy, and then Chemo is kind of freaking out a little bit,
Oh.
because he feels really in the dark. Is that Leah?
No, that is MJ in
Oh,
T-Core. Snuggled up together.
She was cold.
Okay.
Women snuggle, it's normal.
I know. And you notice that who's in the bed next to him. So somebody switched beds.
Huh. Well, it looks like two of them are put very close together.
Yeah, well, in that room, they're like, there's like three, and then there's like one in a corner, or kind of up in a corner. But where Quinn is, I'm pretty sure that's where Matt had been. There's a free bedroom tonight.
Hope he changed the sheets first.
Yeah.
But so Chemo is feeling very left out. He doesn't know who he can trust. He tells Angela that he trusts her, but he's just kind of up in arms. And him and T-Core are talking, and he's just saying that he has a really bad gut feeling that he's leaving. And T-Core tells him that the only way that he is going to get out of all of this is if he wins.
Yeah.
And that proceeds into the whole shit hits the fan number 2, of which you played earlier, that Angela tells Kenny that he's banking on him to win, but obviously that's not going to happen. And
the horror.
Then Kenny's final thing there was like, look, so I would basically say, vote for Matt to stay, let me go home, then get Angela gone. So then their final game to decide the winner, who is the one out of the 3 that doesn't have to plead their case to not be evicted, is called a glitch in the system, where there are these videos playing that just keep playing, and you've got to decipher who you've seen the most in the videos. And the correct answer in the quickest time is who won. And I believe it went right down the line of Matt, Kenny, then Chemo when they came up. But the correct answer was Quinn, so Chemo won. Quinn apparently was seen 19 times. So thank God for that he actually won.
We do have that. And I think that it's fair to say that we're now able to see him compete in something besides for sliding a disc.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
So then there, I don't know, there was like that weird system glitch for a little bit where you like saw the blue screen with the fish, and then it was like they were having a hard time.
Yeah. I don't know what happened with that. That was a little weird. So
they were having a hard time hearing Julie there for a little bit too.
Well, typically that's when production is yelling at the house guests to do something. So,
but there were like a tiny little speech from each of them there for a minute, and then they each have their time to plead their case. And my synopsis of Dingleberry's speech was Matt's BS speech about peace, integrity, and morals. 3 of which he has none.
Tell us how you really feel.
So minus so Angela doesn't get to vote. And Cedric and Chelsea don't get to vote on who gets evicted. So there are 11 votes and they need a total of 6.
Now, I'm not very good at math, but how many votes is it total?
11.
Yeah, 11.
No. I mean, so there's 11 votes cast, right?
11 votes because obviously neither of
The
them
two
can
can-
vote. Cedric and Chelsea can't, and neither can.
Correct. But today, before the cameras went down, they were arguing about what they were going to do if it was a tie. That was what I was getting at. I was like, okay, maybe I'm math's wrong. But yes, they were arguing about that. And they were like, well, then Angela will get to pick. It'll be off our hands. I was like, what?
But so Julie takes each of them in there and they place their live vote and they all get to say like quick little hellos to their family and friends and stuff. So there were only 3 votes for Kenny, and that was Lisa, Leah, and MJ were the only 3 that voted for Kenny. Chemo, Quinn, Rubina, Tucker, Takor, Joseph, Brooke, and Cam all voted for Matt to get the flying Vegeta out of there.
Monkeys.
So Matt is evicted, and Mackenzie starts crying and goes away from everybody during that, and Matt gets up to say his goodbye.
She lost her eyelashes during that. I thought that was quite emotional.
He gets up there to like say his thank yous and goodbyes and everything, and says like how him and Angela had squashed everything, whether she took his thank you or not, and that one picture that you showed was her face of like, but did you? Don't think you did.
I was trying to see if that's Angela's hand up back there.
I'm pretty sure that is. I'm pretty sure that's her.
I wish it was a middle finger.
I'm trying to see, was she wearing glasses tonight? I got pictures all out of order here.
I think so.
Oh,
yeah. Yep.
Oh, I did not notice. Look at that.
She's got rubber duckies.
Oh, now that is a nod to a previous season with a rubber ducky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's going to turn out to be interesting now that I've noticed that. Because they had a competition where basically they I don't remember. They've had a couple that were rubber ducks, and they would release them from the sky, and they had to put together something or pick certain numbers, and they were just like all suddenly dumped down. Then they had the backyard flooded, and there was nothing but rubber duckies. They had to count them. And so, yeah, they've done several. That's interesting. They did that with. She's got that. That's she is a plant. That's pretty good. I like that. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm gonna go back to the picture here and see if she was the one. I'm pretty sure that is her.
From the color of the shirt. Yeah. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the final 3 things on him on his way out was that him being there told his mother's story.
What was his mother's story? Did you get it? I missed it. Yeah, I'm going to buy the novella. One. Yeah, I'm going to buy the novella. I don't remember seeing his story or hearing or seeing his mama's story. So.
No, it wasn't anywhere.
Yeah, I didn't think so. So just.
And apparently he was going to keep capitalizing on him and MJ's relationship.
Yeah, which I think is interesting, like I said previously, because, well, she's got a boyfriend, so perhaps. And he did say on the live feed that he's not going to go back to work for the rest of the year because he's going to have such fame from having been in this show, win or
Being
lose,
such a
that
DB.
he is going to start a podcast and he's going to survive off of that.
I'm gonna go
So-
troll that effing podcast.
I invite him. Come on. I've got experience. I'll teach you. So, hey, all of my co-hosts are doing bigger things. I just want to point that out. So, they're not bigger, but different things. But you're not leaving me
Cheyenne
ever.
would leave you.
I'll
She's
troll
not
him
leaving.
harder than I attempt to troll Jeff.
And Jeff loves you.
We would never see her again, Glenn.
She's gonna go. She's gonna join
No,
his
just-
podcast to be famous.
Just
Yeah. I'm sensing a little anger there. So
Just a little.
just and how much potential there is for him to learn and grow from all this.
he could have had it. I do want to point out.
Eat a bag of genitalia, Matt.
My boy Tucker here. He is
Yeah.
hand washing the floors.
With
I
a
like
Swiffer
Tucker.
right beside of him.
He was
Yeah,
a great
he used-
announcer for the game.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Well, listening to him talk, I
Jim
was like, he
Carrey
shoulda-
s.
I was like,
Yeah.
he should have been on Jersey Shore with him.
He could be
I
a
think
game
he
show
would-
announcer.
I think he'll go on to do something else. I think he really will.
Yeah.
And this is today. He was
picking his nose.
getting ready for the show
Nice.
tonight.
He
They were
doesn't-
all putting their makeup on and everything.
He can't have any scragglers.
Nope.
Lisa's hair looks like mine before I fix it.
Yeah.
And we didn't point one thing out about Matt that I don't know that you know, but he's Filipino or part Filipino, half. I don't know. He's a mix.
Yes.
He
'cause
hates flip flops, and he is appalled and scared of open-toed shoes.
I'll go rub my
I'm not
feet on
making
it.
that up. I'm not making that up. So it's a true story. That's a true story. And Tucker was giving massages. And at some point in time, he almost killed Chemo. And they were like, don't kill him. He's got to compete. He's like, I didn't mean to. He almost broke Chemo. So
And something funny, because I was watching back through stuff today, that that lovely picture of what looks like Leah putting glitter on Dingletwat's pubes.
not Leah. Tinkerbell is putting it on his abs. Yes.
She comes out and is like, "Can I put some of this on your abs?"
Yeah. This morning, the chef.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
This morning, the chef had ordered something for them for high energy. So for their breakfast, the chef, Tinkerbell, arranged. She had a fancy word with it that I can't pronounce, but basically it means you put
a shark coochie board.
one of them.
We call it charcuterie.
Yeah.
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie, but I found a lovely board during the pandemic that you could buy for it. So and it just said shark coochie, so that's what I call it now.
Yes.
Gotcha. But yeah, they had pretzels, olives, cheese, meat, pickles.
I thought you were gonna like point out the thing in the middle. I was like, yep, that's a protein packed breakfast right there in the big bowl in the middle. Just here's your bowl of moss. Decorative bowl
Is
of
it
moss.
broccoli? Maybe it's
No,
broccoli. isn't it?
it's decorative like moss with stones
Oh.
on it.
Yeah.
Well, at any rate, yeah, that was their high energy breakfast for the competition tonight. So
Nice.
But last night, she was trying to fatten Matt up with cookies. So
Well, at one point, Leah had said, I think it was in episode 3, that she was really gonna have to work on fattening all the guys up.
Well, her and Tinkerbell were making cookies. So, but apparently, Mackenzie, MJ, her goal outside of this, even though she has a successful construction business, her goal outside of this is to have a TV cooking show.
Okay.
You got a celebrity chef in there already. Why would you? Whatever. So, yeah. Yeah, the episode was quite well played by CBS. They did a good job with it. They got a little bit of the drama because I think they knew who a couple of the votes were. So when we went to the first commercial, it was, even in the votes, and then when Leah came out, she's dead to me. And I don't understand why. Even Cedric you have to get the strongest players out to win. If you're, it's Kane.
She's voting Kenny out because she's trying to be a part of the threesome.
I guess, but I didn't get it. Didn't make a bit of sense to me. So, why she voted for him? Who was the other? There was 3. There was Mackenzie.
It was Mackenzie, Leah, and Lisa.
That's right, and I can't believe she voted for him because she wasn't in any alliance with him at all.
I think it probably had something to do with a little F you to
Angela.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that now that you say that. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know why that. Yeah, that makes sense. So
it makes me half hope, half worried that now Kenny will start downward spiraling.
I hope not. I hope this gets him fired up, if nothing else.
Yeah, I think that between him and Angela will definitely get him fired up, and I think everyone will be ready to get rid of Angela now as well.
Yeah. And what I don't like is they usually end it with the head of household competition, and we get to watch it on the live feeds. There was no head of household competition started. So I don't even know. Of course, a bunch of them were going to throw it. I think Mackenzie, Quinn, there's a third one, was going to throw it. I was like, why would you throw a head of house? This is the time to grab the head of house. So I don't know. I don't know who's going to get head of house, but I think Chemo was the other one that was going to throw it. Oh, Rabina was the other one. I'm looking it up in my notes now. So, and something weird's going on. The feeds are back, and it looks like they're all in their pajamas already. So they've either already played or they're not going to play tonight. So, which is weird. I don't know. So yeah, it was put out pretty nicely. I was kind of happy that CBS, they did a good job with that. I think now that we have this extra competition, they're going to have to get the house guests used to coming together. And then when it's time for the 2 that are left to start pulling people aside rather than stand and do it all at once, because usually that doesn't happen. So I don't know. And my other thought of something tonight was MJ's got the America's veto. So it can be used as she gets put up. But she's not in anybody's eyes. She's not a target to anybody. Potentially for 3 weeks, she
hang on to it.
Yeah, I mean, she could use it for an ally.
I was gonna say, I think if anything, I mean, granted, in the next 3 weeks, a lot can change, but you know, if they decide to put a target on her because of her relation with Matt, or
Could be.
I think if anything, um, she might use it for an ally.
That's the only way I say it, because I really don't see her being. I mean, unless they target. I think that they're going to target Angela next, is my guess.
Yeah.
And then after that, I don't know, probably Kenny would be my next guess, but I don't think MJ's in there at all, hardly.
I think MJ's going to save that for herself. I think she would have used it on Matt if she were going to use it on anyone else besides herself.
Yeah.
Or maybe Leah.
Is she close to Leah? I don't remember.
They had the little three. It was Leah.
Yeah,
and
that's
Jake.
right.
Their
They did, yeah.
romance.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
romance. So I don't know.
But a lot can change in 3 weeks, and a lot of crazy can happen. So
well, and we also are now going to see what it's like, because Angela's not in power. We don't know who has the power yet, obviously, but Angela's not in power. How is she going to react down with the commoners?
Yeah. I hope she ends up in the black and green room.
Yeah, they haven't said how they. Yeah, they haven't said how they. Usually, it's if they have a competition, that's the either the first ones to fail or the last ones. It's like the three losers of, whatever the competition. Like if it's holding on to a wall, which is a big one, or they'll do the merry-go-round with the ropes that you got to hold on to. Usually, the first three off are the have-nots. So
I feel like that'll be Angela. I want to see her in that room.
You would have seen Angela to you is what Matt is to Shay.
Yes. Yes. She
Why
did
do you say
not
that?
have to act like that. Maybe because I'm a mom.
Okay. No, I'm
Like,
with you.
I don't know. A grown woman acted like that. Like,
he deserved it.
just, but gosh, she was on TV acting like that.
Well,
Oh,
supposedly
man.
she's been on Dr. Phil because her kids wouldn't speak to her
Right.
parents for like 3 years or some crap.
This woman
Because of
has no
something she
shame.
did. Because of something she did.
Well, I mean, it's reality TV, darling.
Yeah.
And then there's a TikTok. Daniel, you're right. I believe she does need to go. Thank you, Daniel.
Yes.
Please go to YouTube and follow the Sport Cat shows so you get notifications of our shows. Like, follow, share, and subscribe. Please, please, please. I don't think that she's going to act that way in the house, but we'll see, because you never know. But
unless she makes another enemy.
And there was a TikTok video going around where she's at the nursing home, like, because her mother had been sexually active with somebody else, and she's making a joke about it. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's real or not, but she's an attention, whatever you want to call it,
an attention woman of the evening.
I can't say the word because I'm a male, but yeah, I mean,
an attention trollop.
She demands it almost. It's almost as if she doesn't have it on her. She's jealous. Is that the right word? Envious, maybe, of the others, and what she was absolutely right for calling Matt stereotype out, but Matt, who didn't want to be that stereotype, made himself that stereotype.
And I mean, I feel like she had the right to call him out in front of everybody who
at the beginning
was just going along with him, but I don't agree with the way that she did it.
Yeah.
Oh no, she did it crazy Karen was. There's no doubt about that. And then she's like, "Oh, I didn't mean anything by it." You did it there in the bathroom. Yeah, it was the bathroom. So yeah, it was a lot.
I think
So,
she'll go
yeah.
next.
I'm
Yeah, I
just
think
glad
she
he's
will. She's
gone.
gonna have to win something. So, and the one nice thing I think CBS has done this year, in past, at the beginning, they'll put a lot of physical comps out there. Well, that's great for players like Matt,
Tucker
and probably
Cam.
Chemo, Tucker, Cam, yeah, especially them. And then, well, we're forgetting Cedric. We really don't know what he can do because we haven't seen him do anything either. He can't spell cat. I can tell you that. He thinks there's a Q in it. So after listening to him the other night, what was he was talking about? He didn't say when his wife was or girlfriend would be pregnant. Oh, I forget the word he was using, and they're like, "What are you talking
He
about?"
had to like take 2 years off or something to.
Yeah, he was gonna have to get her pregnant while he was 27, so that
Because he
she
didn't
would
want to do. He didn't want to
she
have a
would have
baby in
the
his
child
30s.
would be born before he was 30, and they were like, "Well, you did what?" And I forget the word. God, what word was he using? And they're like, "Just say pregnancy," and he's like, "Well, no, it's like you're carrying it." And they're like, "You're pregnant." He was talking like, oh, what
Like
was the
with
word?
child or something.
Oh, he was using a fancy word that was not the meaning. It might have
Oh
been
no.
chickens or cows or something, but not a female. And he's so clueless. So, and he's the oldest of like 5. So there's a
Wow.
couple more like
Bless
him
their
out there.
hearts.
What are your thoughts on introducing 3 people on the block in the AI contest? I think it's actually good because for years we've had the House all vote the same, and it makes for boring TV. Now Angela is crazy, but it made for good TV. And Daniel, you got to admit that's what we've been waiting for a couple of years. Somebody that crazy to come on. So we kind of got that. Now the AI comp at the end, that was a good comp. That really was. Because I would have screwed it up because I was thinking it was who was seen the most, which was Angela. So I was like,
well,
so
and
I
it
would
seemed
have
like
picked her.
it seemed like it took them all a minute because like what the heck am I?
Well,
Yes.
it looked like it was a square room, obviously, and it looked like they had screens up at the corners. So there have been 3 corners. They were real like 50-inch screens, and they were flashing the videos, but the videos would repeat back and forth between the 3, so you didn't know which one you were watching. So that was a good comp. And it was fair for a 2-minute comp. It was fair for 3 people. So yeah, I liked it. But yeah, don't ask Cedric to incubate. That was the word he was using for my female to incubate.
Chicken.
That was the word he used. Yeah. He said, I need to get her
got to incubate the
pregnant
baby
by the time she's 27 so she can incubate and we can have a child when we're 30.
Make sure to get her a heat lamp.
He was dead serious. Hey, maybe Mama give him the birds and bees talk a little too serious.
I found the women like the corn when you hand crush it more.
You feed it to them in their little beak while they're pregnant. Yeah, I don't know what
they prefer it less regurgitated, but sometimes it's preference, really.
God. I think he's going to be a good character on here.
Yeah.
And I think he'll probably be one of the ones that's just kind of carried along until closer to the end. Because
I think Rubina is going to be the same way.
Yeah. There's a picture I saw on Twitter of her standing directly next to Angela, and the camera had to actually tilt to get her and Angela in. There's such a difference in height.
Yeah, she's under 5 feet.
She's 4'9", like 90 pounds. She's probably going to be the one that clings onto the wall. They do the wall contest, and then you have like a little just big enough for your feet to stand on, and they'll tilt the wall forward, and you've got like 2 little handles to hold on to, and that same slime, they'll slime you, they'll shoot paintballs, make loud noises, shoot cold stuff on you, and she'll probably be the one to hold. Her and Cedric will have that competition, I would think. So
So do they do the same competitions every year?
Well, see, that's been one of the things people have complained about is they have done so many of the competitions every year that are the same, and they've done them almost at like the same time, so that the players have become up until this season used to, okay, well, this is where they're going to give us a puzzle. This is where we're going to do this and that. And in OTEV, which is veto spelled backwards, is always the big one right in the middle of the season. So I think they're changing it up because, I mean, the fans have been complaining about the fact that it's been boring.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm glad that we've had these big alliances push through, but let's face it, that's not what Big Brother is. Big Brother is a psychological chess game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of that, Quinn, did you hear his plan? If he wins HOH in the next 3 weeks, which he has no need to, he's going to use his power on himself. Yeah, he's going to play a psychological game on him if he wins it. And I don't know that I quite understand it. In other words,
I kind of get it. It would just be so that nobody would be able to know that it was.
Yeah, he's going to be like, I'm sorry, I'm putting up you, Leah, and you, Cedric, and you whomever. And then he'll have his real vetoes as the deep fake.
Oh.
I kind of like that.
Is that a good movie, you think?
Yeah, because then they won't even know it's coming and they won't have time to form an alliance with anyone to back them up.
And depending on how long in between the time that he picks his people and the time when the deep fake is introduced.
Yeah. Because if I understand correctly, from what between Twitter or X, excuse me, and then Quinn had talked about, the robot or Ainsley will transform into the HOH, and it will be him or her speaking. So whoever the HOH is, so it would still be him, but it'll be AI him. So yeah. Not sure that I like it.
It's a fake out, which I kind of like the idea of that.
As a super fan, actually, it's probably pretty good thinking, because then he can be saying, okay, well, look, I have no control, so me, you will be in an alliance, and because then he could snuff out real quickly who his friends and allies were.
Well, and too, like I was saying, depending on how long they have when he can use it, those first 3 are going to be sweating for a bit until they're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. So I'm kind of, now to think about that might be a good idea, because then he can see both friends and allies. He's playing both sides of the board. So it would be, if he can make it to week 4 and win the week 4 HOH, that would be optimal. Because it's almost halfway through the game, and then he could really suss out who liked him and who didn't. Huh. Interesting. Now let's hope that Angela can keep her mouth shut, because she knows about the power.
Right. So, I think she'll be gone though.
Well,
I don't think they have to worry about it.
And Leah knows about Mackenzie's.
Yeah, but here's the thought though, but if Angela gets put up, I wonder if she will rat Quinn out to gain points with others. She's got a big mouth.
Oh, yeah.
That was like my thing with her in the beginning, of like why I wouldn't trust her with anything, because she'll go blab everything.
Yeah.
So who do you think the real winner of tonight was? Kenny? Chemo? Amanda? Who do you think?
Kenny. I like Kenny. I'm so glad he got to stay. I was worried with Matt talking to everybody. It seemed like there was a lot of people on his side. I was worried.
I just didn't like his cop out of just.
But
well, if it's me and Matt, then
whoa. Sabina just forgot, or Abina, whatever her name, Rubina.
Rubina.
She just forgot the cameras were live.
Oh no.
Whoopsie. Yeah, just out of the corner of my eye, she put on her yellow bikini top.
Oh.
Interesting.
Record.
No, you can't do that this season. Past seasons, I could rewind it, but I missed my shot. So, yeah. What the? They're vacuuming now. So I don't know what they're doing. They must have already played HOH. We need to go check X and see if they've announced who the HOH is, because Tucker's cleaning. They're all cleaning. So, and then she was. That just doesn't look normal for Mackenzie to be vacuuming. She's vacuuming around the kitchen table. That just doesn't look normal in her hands. So, yeah. I need to go back and look, because Steve, he was a cop. He was on our show. And let's see, there's an EMT, Cornbread. He was first week out from Georgia. And there was another cop, Glenn. His name was Glenn. He was out week 1. So I think Kenny will be the first police officer, aside from Derek, that has made it. So good to see that. Now, I don't think any firefighters have ever made it very far either. So
is Angela's family embarrassed by her after tonight's episode? I would be.
Didn't he post on X something? Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Pettit 34. Thank you for watching. Didn't you say her family posted something on X?
Yeah, that she's not a mole.
Oh yeah, and that she's not that crazy. They're enjoying the ride too, just as much as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Probably enjoying the summer break from her.
So apparently the HOH competition isn't until later. That's what everybody's putting on the group chat.
Okay. All right. Well, they'll get them good and relaxed. Yeah, they'll probably do it at like 3 a.m. when they're good and tired. So, but I don't know. It'll be up at 3 a.m, but I'll be watching. So,
hey, have you all noticed that there's like a math equation in the aquarium?
I've noticed something in there.
Yeah, it's something.
Is it algebra? So I'm out.
Right.
You're the one to answer the algebra questions, Amanda.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I can't really tell. It's real quick. It's almost like it's some kind of formula or something.
Well, everything in the Big Brother house means something.
Yeah, I'm almost wondering if they're going to have to try to figure that out.
Have you noticed they keep zooming in on the pink cat? I don't know what that's about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they keep zooming on the pink cat. I've noticed that. And that really intrigues me now that I noticed Angela's earrings were rubber duckies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she probably brought them in. They were production approved, but were they given to her by production? Hello,
Maybe
Brian.
they gave them to her to wear.
It could be. Brian, please go over and find us on the Sport Cat shows over on YouTube, and like, follow, share, and subscribe. We appreciate your support. And that thumbs up button, it means something to me. I'm not sure what, but it's a good thing if you push it. Yeah, I think Kenny was the biggest winner tonight, because Kenny now sees who's on his side, who is, his target is obviously going to be Angela. So
I hope he gets HOH.
He just really disappointed me with.
But was that an act? Maybe. It was a very convincing one if it was.
Yeah, he said he felt close to Matt because of the military police connection.
Yeah.
So I understand.
He was old enough to be his son. And
yeah,
I get it, but giving up $750,000, and I mean,
right.
Yeah, I get that you're homesick. They all go through that every season, but usually,
if I was his wife, I'd be turning him right back around and telling him to get his behind right back in that house.
Well, it's funny. Season 2, when my boss was on it, Kent from Knoxville, there was a she's still forgotten about the cameras. There was a competition where they put all the house guests in this little teeny tiny, I don't remember what year it was, but it was not a Volkswagen. It was a little station wagon. And they put at that time, I think there were 16 house guests in it. And the winner got HOH and the car, the last one in it. This went on forever. And Kent, he won it. And he said that Brian, it's the Sport Cat shows. You can find us at or the Paranormal Guys, either one, on YouTube. Yeah, he said on the show, he says, I can't get out of this car. My wife needs a car and she won't let me come home if I don't at least win something. And it was the very first competition. So,
That's great.
Yeah, so God rest his soul. Yeah, he didn't win, but he won the car. But drove it till it ran out, I'm told. Wheels ran off of it. So, but yeah, I don't think that Kenny's wife would have been too happy if he'd come home empty-handed. So he would have definitely been divorced, I would guess. Especially since he claims that he's met his wife because of Big Brother.
He would have been hearing about it till his last breath.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh, that's funny. I
love that Joseph just walked past them stretching. He's like, yeah, no, I'm not stretching with you all.
Yeah, Joseph is my guy. Him and Tucker. I like Tucker. Tucker's turned out to he's turned out to be a good person. Thank you, Brian. He's turned out to be a good person, it seems like, at heart, too. At first, I thought he was going to be one of those snobby types, but he's definitely anal compulsive about cleaning.
He's a goofball, yeah.
He is. Yeah. He is. So I think he'll do well. I hope him and Joseph are down to final 2. We'll just bring Leah along for the ride and then dump her at the last. She's dead to me now. She's dead to me.
Gosh.
If we had picked players at the beginning of the season, those would have been my 3. So it's dead to me. Well, any other updates, Cheyenne?
No, not that I'm seeing. The group chat is surprisingly quiet.
Well, that's surprising. Well, Brian, I am in Atlanta, and these other 2 young ladies are in the South as well. So welcome. And anytime you want to join the show and give us a call while we're on the air, you're welcome to call. We have the toll-free number up there, 888-88-YERGZ. So, because later on during the season, when they get active and they're doing the contests right after the show, which is what they normally do, we'll probably stay live for a little while longer. I know it'll kill Amanda having to be up at early in the morning and we're still talking Big Brother. I've already found myself. You're welcome, Brian. Thank you. We appreciate your support. I've already found myself watching the show and been like, okay, I got to turn it off. I'm going to be up all night. I'm easily sucked in. This is my one guilty pleasure. So
they're usually asleep when I have it on. I'm like, who is snoring so loud?
I think they said that was chemo.
Is it?
I think so. If I understood correct, because everybody's like, get to bed before chemo. So I think it is him. So
it is really loud if you all haven't heard it.
No, I haven't heard it yet. So, and because he was trapped in there with Quinn. That's right. Yeah, it was him. Because Quinn's like, I gotta go to sleep early. Him and Tucker were like, we gotta go to sleep early before chemo.
Wow, it is extremely loud.
And they've already, and at the time they were already trying to have to sleep in the have-nots room too. So
yes.
Yeah. And one season, it was a celebrity season, and it was one of the cast members from SNL. He walked in his sleep and would always go and eat. And it would just like make a mess, like leave the refrigerator. And they thought he was doing it on purpose. And finally, I guess Cass said something to him about, what are you doing? They filmed it every night, and he's like, "What are you talking about?"
They're like, "Hey, can you not
You can watch
get
it."
up and
He would get up and like drink milk out of the jug and just throw it down, and like rip open a cupcake and just like eat half of it and just throw it down.
Oh my
It was
God.
the wild, and everybody thought he was doing it to annoy the other house guests, but he was really sleepwalking. So
Jeez.
yeah, I think it was one of the cast members from SNL, and they really did. They thought he was doing it to be, funny and get, something over on the other contestants, but he didn't have a clue. It was quite
Wow.
creepy to him. In fact, I think he left the show. I think he self-ejected because he was so embarrassed by it. So,
Oh no.
yeah, well, I mean, he didn't know. So, but
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah,
run
well,
that call
I
as a
mean, it's-
paramedic. So,
well, I mean, it's nothing to be ashamed of.
No, not at all.
no, aside from the fact of just dumping a gallon of milk out on the floor and
Makes
leaving
for
a
good
trail of
TV.
Yeah.
Maybe Angela will do that now. Oh, that would be great. That would be golden.
She's totally lost it. Starts
Anyway.
sleepwalking.
Yeah.
She'll just
Well,
pick one empty bed that she just starts destroying every night.
She'll start yelling for the manager.
Was she?
Where's my refund?
She was already talking in her sleep, wasn't she? Or was she still awake? I don't know.
No,
She talks all the time.
She was still awake.
Yeah. So
She was trying to go to sleep, but that's when she was talking to herself, formulating
Yeah.
what she was going to say to Matt the next day.
yes, what was it? B-roll movie or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Everybody's performance was fantastic for a low budget movie.
A budget
Yeah.
movie. Well, a lot of the people that stay on this show go on to be on like the challenge or what's the one? That's the one where you do the race, right? Or is that a different one where you race across the country, road race or something like that? It's another CBS
Amazing
show.
Race.
Amazing Race. So a lot of players go on to Amazing Race and the challenge on MTV. Usually the more physically fit ones, because that show has some, like you had to jump between two moving tractor and trailers over a bridge 50 feet off of the river. So
there was a commercial for the challenge on there, and they were gonna have to like hike all the way to the peak of
to the summit of that mountain. Yeah. So a lot of the contestants from this show go on to that one, and I think from Survivor as well. But I don't watch Survivor. I really need to. But this is my only guilty pleasure. So. All right. Well, we will get out of here because I know you two ladies got to go to sleep. Amanda, you're welcome to join us tomorrow, but we are going to be hopefully having a new semi-permanent host. So, Shay, you're going to drop in on us, aren't you?
I'll be there.
All right. Good. I think that'll be fun. We'll have we have the surprise guest. I've been talking to her on and off for the past 3 days, so it's going to be a good show. And then I don't know. We'll see if we have a new host. So we'll welcome her into the crazy family that we have. I will eventually get run out of this. So, have you lined up anything for Saturday yet, Cheyenne?
Not yet. I haven't had the chance to, but I'll come up with something tomorrow.
Some way to torture me. I'm sure Amanda can help you. Maybe our new co-host will have some ideas. So. All right. Well, everybody, we will be back. What, next week? Tuesday, right?
I think so.
Monday? Is it Tuesday?
It's Monday. Hell, I don't know. We'll be back with Big Brother next week.
beginning of next week.
Well, I'm glad that you stream on Twitch. Yeah, we have several other shows too, Brian. So make sure to check us out. Yeah, I'm not sure what day we're back next. Monday, Tuesday, we'll be back. So I need to get a little. There's the fish tank up, man. Look at the equation, quick. What is it?
It's not on my screen. What?
Oh, it's full screen on mine.
I'm on the quad view.
We should have 4 screens of it then.
It's
I'm
on an advertisement right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, everybody have a great night. We will see you soon.